So in the real world, I need you to recognize that this is not a game. That life is on the edge of extinction itself because you have so many people that you need so much things. For instance, 1 pound of food per person per day times 365 days a year adds up to 2 or 3 or 4 trillion pounds of food a year. That's living things that you eat. That's living things that this earth has to produce. That's, realities that you just don't accept or understand because you don't want to. So you need to understand what is a reality before it's absolutely too late, and that won't be long. So we're going to go with things that you should be known, or at least things that you can know. And one is that truth is a passage. It's not a game. It's not a road, really. It's a passage. It's a path along the things that matter, the things that produce evidence for us that become our laws, and the consequence of those things is a law, and the forces that are involved in creating those truths in that law become an environment in which we have to participate as life. So life is the participation in that reality, and reality does not exist without thought. So you have to recognize the identity of life before you can be alive. Otherwise, you just simply exist, and if you just exist, you can be a rock, I guess. That doesn't mean life or rocks are life. Just means that you have to have thought to be alive. So let's see, I'm going to read a little bit. Living constructs the limits and the boundaries of who we are and what we are and why we do things. Thought is a sign to the identity of who you can be or who you want to be. And if we the limits of our thought are determined by our own truth. So when we ask who or what assigns to us the level or the limits or the boundaries of what we can think of, what we can understand, the answer to that is that apart from nature, which is everything but human, the answer is that order and discipline and choice are the things that are left up to me and to you. And so we identify ourselves by how we interact with those particular choices and that limit and that boundary. So you can choose the limit of love that is available. You can choose the boundaries of hate that are available. You can choose whatever it is that you want that is available. And so the passage of your truth is created by your own respect for order, discipline, and the choices that you have that can be made. These become our behaviors, and they become our beliefs. And love is identified by the living and the sharing and the caring that we do. And those who hate you present the opposite of love. And it shouldn't be hard for you to decide what is or is not the opposite of love. I think that's pretty clear. So the limits of love are identified by passions, and passions are the price you're willing to pay for your caring and your sharing about something of life and something of value that is recognized by you and respected by you as having added value to your living, to your existence, to your life, to your thought, to your participation in all things that time allows. So we have to establish these by respect. If you don't respect any of those, you don't value anything. So if you have no respect, you have no love, and you should acquaint yourself with that very truth in all forms of dating. If you don't respect each other, if someone does not respect you, they do not love you. It is quite literally that simple. respect determines whether or not you can and will love. So respect is absolute, and it is important, and it is without exception. You have to have respect in order to love. And if you're just one animal lust, well, that's just a whole different thing. Unfortunately, or fortunately, whichever you prefer, sex will buy you time to participate with someone else. But if they don't love you, what's the point? Other than chemicals. And of course, then there's loneliness, which participates as the purpose or the incentive to get out from your own little shell and participate with others, because otherwise you're going to be lonely. It's a point of fact that if you never participate with someone else, they don't participate with you. If you don't accept someone else as a friend or even an enemy, whatever, they don't participate with you, and you are alone. So you have to get beyond yourself and discover what is available. You have to accept the risk of being wrong, because sometimes you're going to be wrong. Sometimes people are not going to, they want what they want, and of course, that's the animals in them. And, love is a very delicate thing. You can injure love. You can cause it to die in those that surround you. You have to participate carefully. And of course, hate never participates carefully. They might lie to you, they might cheat you, they might steal from you, but they don't participate honestly with you. And it is the honesty that makes the difference. It is truth created by your choice that becomes honesty. So, if you are not choosing to be honest, you are choosing to lie. And that means you don't respect the one that you were with, because if you respected them, you would not lie to them. But the other part of that is, I want what I want, and I want, and I want, and I don't want. And these are the things that people do. If you haven't made your choice to love or to hate, you end up with animal, which is the center part of love and hate. Or the center part of time, which means that you're just living for your want. So if you're just living for what you want, you can be an animal, and an animal can love or can hate, and that's the only method by which these things appear to be the same or similar in nature. People say love and hate are just a step away from each other. That's just not true. But want is in the middle and draws them together. And say you have to choose this or you have to choose that, and that's of course what the middle part is. But you won't survive in the middle. It doesn't really exist. When time ends, the middle is gone. So the value of your love actually initiates family. And how we share and care for each other in that family illustrates the truth of what family means to us. If you respect each other, you try to share with each other. And if you don't care about each other. And of course, then there's the common thread of particularly in older women who want to divide the family. In other words, those who are beyond the children they may have born are evicted, so that because they want to spend time with just their children, that's who is important to me. There is no one more important to me, and I want the isolation to spend time with you, so they evict the rest. But the unfortunate part of that, of course, is that those who were not spending time with you before are not going to be spending time with you just beyond a tiny little bit, maybe one time. That's all you get because you evicted their friends. You've evicted the greater portion of what family means, and that limits it to you. And of course, you are not enough to keep their interest, and so on. So while dictates, this is an animal, and the things that are consistent with animal decide what behavior will be, the reality of love is that you have to accept the fact that, each individual life has to make its own choice. If it's not making a choice to spend time with you, it's not making a choice to spend time with you. And it's just how life is. And of course, as we get older, that means that the people that we did spend time with die off, and we become more alone and more alone and more alone as time goes on, because that's just how life is, and it's a preparation for eternity, in fact. It's a preparation so that you know that you must choose beyond time as a preparation for eternity. You don't get to stay. Those who turn themselves around and say, I want to stay, in that final moment of life or death, well, it's life beyond. If your life is leaving you, you must go with it. It is your life. If you stay with the dead body, then that's what you get, is a dead body and a dead life, and no hope and no choice and no anything. So there is a slight period of moments where a choice can be made to invade someone else's life, but that's a whole nother thing. So anyway, hate is the opposite of love. Recognize that. Understand that, define that, and the passions that are associated with, judgment, the things of hatred, judgment, violence, and death, just to begin. There are other behaviors that become, animals contribute to, which are theft and manipulation and temptation and all of those, but the end result of it is, judgment really does present the primary point of direction. Nature, however, reveals that miracles exist, and thought knows that. If you think you know that nature is a miracle, it isn't anything else. It's not an accident, it's not chaos, it's a miracle that we did not create. Therefore, the existence of life rather than time, the existence of life rather than time, begins when you actually honestly search for your Creator. So if you don't ever search for your Creator, you don't actually become alive. So that requires respect and truth, and the separation of life from time. You have to. Time is an incubator. Time gives you the chance to create yourself, to create your identity, to create your eternity, to create what it is that is important to you, what has value to you, and so on. And of course, the end result of that is all the animals say, what is important to me is money. Money, 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 money. But money is just a purpose of finding a slave. That's what money does for you. It provides slaves. It's instead of you have to do the work, I have money, I'll make him or her do the work. Instead of you have to be alone or you can't find sex, you pay for that sex. Whatever it is that you want slavery for. So, we don't, you have to make a choice. Your identity is your identity, and it is not combined or coupled with someone else's identity. It's your choice. And if you don't respect life, if you don't accept that life is in fact a miracle, like a university does, which says that, according to their religion, all of life is a chaos and all of life is an accident, and so on and so on. But the end result of that, of course, is that none of it is true, and only truth survives. So you have to abandon the university from your thought and create inside yourself what is true for you. Don't listen and don't believe and don't follow. Listen, accept the path that is your truth, and understand that the ascension into life is steps by step. In other words, if your truth is identified by your knowledge, and your knowledge begins with a miracle. Miracles are the evidence that our Creator exists, and our Creator does exist. We can't make a life. Can you make a hair? No, you can't. Can you make skin? No, you can't. Can you make blood? No, you can't. Can you make a heart? No, you can't. Can you create the bones, all that build themselves and lock themselves together and transport themselves throughout the body and gather up all the resources that are needed to make a bone, and all the muscles, 600 and some odd muscles that thread their way through your body and create a living form that is your life, your existence in time. Can you do any of that? No, you can't. You can't do any of that. And neither can your university. They are not God.